Hey, I'm Tanya H. Franklin, and welcome to Tricks My Dog Taught Me, a podcast for lighthearted and occasional deep conversations with family and friends, revolving around my journey as a dog mom to my little guy, Zach the toy poodle, which actually prompted me to self-publish my very first book and share some of my insights through poetry and some weekly life lessons. So today I invited my sister Tanisha, who I've known all my life, to join me to have a heart-to-heart conversation about when life happens, or the S word, which is the inspiration behind week 3's poem in my book. Show you that book again, right? So, Tanisha, I think we all can agree that a lot has happened in this past year, or just in life in general. But, what's a few things that have happened in your life, be they good or bad, in 2025?
My daughter graduated high school. She went to college. She's going to be, she is in the nursing program, which I'm very excited about for her.
Mm-hmm.
As far as me personally, I'm just taking accountability for things that are going good or going not so good in my life as well. And I guess just, trying to reflect on some things to, make some changes for the upcoming year.
Yeah. I think a lot of times, we may not reflect like we should. So I think that's really good, I know that I sometimes probably reflect too much. And people are like, why are you always thinking so deep about this? Just, just live life. But sometimes when things happen, it's like, you got to take a moment back and wonder about that. And, we're sisters.
Yeah.
But, I even think about when we were younger and my name was not Tanya. It was Tanisha and Tanya. But I say that, we're 18 months apart. But, yeah, we're sisters. We're not twins necessarily, even though people used to think that when we were younger, but we're not the same and we have our own journeys. And so I'm just wondering, when you have some unexpected things happen in your life, especially when they're ones where you're like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Like, how do you handle them? Honestly, how you handle them? You don't gotta give me the PG answer.
Great things have, I guess, encountered will be with males in particular. The whole ghosting, love bombing, all those type things, breadcrumbing as they call it as well.
All right, help me out. What's breadcrumbing?
Oh, giving you a little bit every day, just enough to keep you hooked.
Yeah,
just enough to keep you hooked.
Mm-hmm.
So I've experienced pretty much every single one of these things this year, which has, I guess, made me reflect on myself. How did I handle it? I'm pretty much shut down people. There's this thing called block that I never used to do. So everybody gets blocked now. You might, get towed off and get a nice little, block. You won't get yours in sometimes. Sometimes you might.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's it. Pretty much, yeah. The majority of my downs would be with the male species.
Yeah. Well, how do you keep going? I'm wondering, like, when these things happen, there's some people who, I'm sure you've seen plenty of these reels who are like, I just give up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what makes you say, you know what, I'm going to keep my hat in the ring, like, even though certain things keep happening?
Well, because I'm out here.
Yeah.
I'm decent. I'm dope. So there's got to be somebody just as dope out here that's going through the same thing with, probably with females doing silly, dumb stuff or being messy or whatever. So I'm just, I got to keep a positive, light of things, because if not, that's pretty much what you're going to put back out in the universe anyway. So you kind of have to be on that positive side of things.
I love that you say that. I mean, I think that sometimes people use that phrase, oh, don't be so woo-woo about things. I know people say that sometimes about me. But I think that that's the reality, is that the energy you put out there. And I think that's sometimes what makes it tricky, or at least to me, is if you feel like you're putting out positive energy, yet it seems that some bad circumstances keep happening, then you're like, well, geez, what's going on here? Which makes me wonder, like, do you think there's a reason that certain things might happen in life, especially, and it doesn't have to be bad things necessarily. Like, do you think that, like, what school do you come from? The school of everything's random, or in life there are no coincidences, or you believe that, oh yeah, that's just a coincidence,
So for me right now, I'm feeling like that at this moment that everything has been lessons. Every time I've gone through something this year, it's not that it was the situation were totally bad. I've gotten a whole lot of great things out of this. I'm getting trips, gifts, all kind of stuff. It's just that it just doesn't become what I want it to come. So every time I guess, entertain a person at this point, it is always better than the last one. Yeah. So that part is good. That's the good part. So it's just me taking away from the lessons that I learned. So, and next time, I may feel some type of way, for a couple of days, but I'm back in. I'm back, and that's it. Like, it's not like I'm married to any of these people, so there's no loyalty with, those situations. You did what you did, you fumbled, and that's it. And we're here. So I'm back in the ring.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I mean, I feel like, to me, that I used to sometimes think that there were certain, like, I will say, I've used the phrase, wow, that's a crazy coincidence. Like, if I come across someone who knows someone I know, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's a crazy coincidence. But the reality to me is that I feel like, not that our life is predetermined necessarily, yet that there are certain aspects of our life that are set up a certain way where, not everyone necessarily believes in God, but, God, higher power, what have you. But I believe that, it's weird. I mean, to use an analogy, it's like we're all in this, game of life, so to speak. And there's these roadmaps, and, God's like, all right, I'm going to set it up for them to go this way. But somehow we find a way to hop over a bush. And he's like, what are you doing? Yeah. And so then, as a result of doing that, we then hop over the bush, and there's a dog on the other side barking or something. You're like, oh my gosh, let me get from over there. And you're like, that's crazy. Why was that dog there? That was random. But, it wasn't random. It was because you were deviating from the course. So I'm thinking about it like from the standpoint of, you might come in contact with a guy who, he might be nice, but just not nice for you necessarily, and so you might say to yourself, well, I don't understand why that happened the way it did, but I feel like you were being pulled in a certain direction. So, and, in terms of it being, I guess, I don't want to say predestined to be with someone, because some people believe, oh, you only have one soulmate. I don't think that's true. But at the same time, I do think that there's some times in life where there's this magnetic force, and sometimes something that repels us, and that's not a coincidence, that it's, in a weird way, some form of protection. Right. So I'm wondering, do you find that when things happen, is your default to focus on the negative? I know you talked a little bit about trying to focus on the positive, but when something unexpected happens, do you find that you're just, like people use that phrase, waiting for the other shoe to drop? Like, do you go into something expecting it to be negative, or do you try to go into it saying whatever happens, happens?
So I go into things with whatever happens. Of course, we always, like the best, but I do go in with a wall that's,
You said with a wall?
Yeah.
Well, is the wall not now? How is the wall not negative?
It's a wall until you every day you chisel a little piece. I'm not negative. Like I'm all
No one's saying like just be an open floor plan. I'm just saying that because you said wall, but
there's a wall there. I mean, they may not know it's there, but it's not like it's a still wall.
Yeah,
you can probably kick through it. If you're good and you're intentional and purposeful, you definitely. Yeah. But if you're not, and if you lack consistency, please, the wall is not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You won't get the same energy, and that's the only time I do give people that same energy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you think it's possible that it may have been some things that happened to them that could be impacting the way they interact with you?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I know one thing. What was it? This was a while back when I used to go to kickboxing, and I would go to the 6 a.m. class, and I'll never forget this lady. And mind you, class starts at 6 a.m. So this is like 5:45. And I'm like, hi, how are you today? And she's like, my day's horrible. And I'm like, your day's horrible? And I said, but it's not even 6 o'clock yet. I said, we still got a lot of hours left in the day. And so she, proceeds to tell me, a couple of things that happened. And I said, well, I hope your day, gets better, that, these couple of things may have happened. But, and I'm quite sure she may have been thinking in her mind, oh gosh, here we go. One of these Susie Sunshine people talking about, thing. But I will say that I feel like for myself, like sometimes, if I stub my toe or something happens or, I can't find something in the morning. And if I start saying all these bad things keep happening, then more bad things keep happening. Or if I just say, all right, this is an isolated incident, let's get on with this. Right? So, or I mean, I know it might sound corny, but sometimes what I'll do, like you, and I know that because I've been in the car with you, when that person is driving really slowly, or they're not, or they're doing something that's just annoying you on the road, or here's one, for because even though I'm outside of Philly, I still claim Philly, Philly drivers where they will lay on the horn because the light's yellow when you slow down. And I mean, I use that as an example where you're like, oh my gosh, what is wrong with them? I got somewhere to be. And so that might allow, sometimes a person to spiral. I'm not going to act like I've never gotten irritated. But then at the same time, I'm like, you know what? This person might be preventing me from an accident. Like there might, like if, like how sometimes just a few seconds pass by and then you move, you keep moving on with the rest of your day and you're like, oh my God, there's an accident on the road I was supposed to be on. That could have been me had that car not stopped, So, yeah. So sometimes I try to, I mean, I'm not going to act like it's foolproof, but, I try and do that sometimes, Yeah.
Excellent point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, when you're presented with tough times, like how do you handle them? Not even just like in, the dating scene, but just, in general. Say it again.
Period. I journal.
You journal.
I'm a journaler.
Yeah.
And not a good thing, but I am definitely an overthinker. I will revisit it 1,000 times and replay the scenario 50 different times in my head, how it could have went.
Mm-hmm.
I do that. But journaling, because I vent to people sometimes, but sometimes I don't. So I can vent to my journal. I can say whatever I want to say, and it's all good. Close the book and keep it moving. Mm-hmm. I might look at it next week like, I'm over it. Like, that was, this week is, so much better, So sometimes journaling is helpful for me because I can go back and look and see. Just like, I have a journal for every year.
Okay.
So I can go back. I mean, I'm writing it every day, but it's, 2025. This is the journal. This is all things that happened this year. And whether it started off good, great, but whatever the case is, it's there. I can look at it and see what's going on.
Yeah. So, not that I'm asking you to pull out your journal and share a page, but I'm just wondering, like, is your technique to just kind of purge? Like, there's some people who just write down any and everything that has happened throughout the course of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some people who might, zero in on something specific that has happened that maybe so for instance, for me, and I will say that I have been a little negligent lately in being, in keeping it. I keep a gratitude journal. So it's a specific type of journal so that I might not say every single thing that's happened, but in keeping a record of something, whether it's big or small, that I'm grateful for. Like, so is yours where it's something specific, or just like you just kind of are able to trying to think of the right word, but we'll just say dump, because sometimes you got to just dump everything and then you feel the sense of release. It's, cathartic.
Yeah, so I do a combination actually. Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, obviously I'm dumping when stuff don't, go the way I would like it to go. But other times it's, I'm thankful. I appreciate, certain things. I'm writing about things that I appreciate, because there's so many things going on, out here that you need to be appreciative that my car is even out there anymore.
Yeah. How about that?
I'm appreciative of that. I'm appreciative that I have a job. That there's people that don't have these things. So, yes, I do, occasionally I do a combination.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. So I'm wondering, when you think back, since you mentioned journaling, of tough times in the past, because I don't know if journaling is something you've always done. Do you have any advice that you would have given your younger self in how you deal with tough things happening? Because before you answer that question, I remember the Tanisha who could be quite combative sometimes, and you could, and I won't say that you yourself were tough, because you know yourself in that way, but I'll say you present it as such. Where, there were times when I would think, oh, she just doesn't like me, or, and so I'm so grateful that we're closer, now, but your younger self, I'm like, when tough stuff happened, I'm just, so I'm wondering, what advice would you have given yourself?
My younger self?
Yeah.
What's younger?
Whatever you like. We'll say, you can think of grade school up through high school.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I know that's a long span.
I guess not going from 0 to 1,000. That wasn't a thing back then, but I would get mad about stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would definitely get mad about stuff. So I think I extend a little bit more grace to people these days.
Yeah.
Which, for me, I feel like that's a work in progress, still going on. I still have my moments because I'm human, I still, I might still flip out on you every now and then. But for the most part, I think I'm good. I'm good. Like, even down to my mouth, smart mouth is it only comes out sometimes. I've been really good with that. And I feel like I'm in therapy, so I'm really good with it. But I feel like I've made progress with that as well, because I do know that I have experienced growth. And then even looking at the journals, I've been journaling probably since I was 26.
Okay.
I have tons of journals in my basement. And I can look at, even down to, marriage, when I was married. I read those journals. I don't even know why. I should have been reading them every year. And I probably would have been done with my marriage, to be honest. Because you can see cycles. Different things that continue to go on as you, dang, that just happened last week. Same stuff happening every week in the whole year, which is insane. But it does allow you a chance to reflect and see, dang, this is what I was going through.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know, as you were saying that, something that stuck with me when you were saying if you had really paid attention to what you were writing in your journals, you probably would have ended your marriage sooner, is it made me think about how sometimes, and I know I won't say I've been guilty of this, but there's I will admit sometimes this is what I want. Not right now, but in the past, to just live life on autopilot. meaning that, not that I'm not doing anything and I'm just existing. I don't mean it in that way, but where I don't feel like I have all this conflict and all these crazy things happening, and that I'm just going to work and going home and seeing family. Have you like the same, like kind of like a Groundhog Day situation. Right. But then at the same time, I feel like if we just lived our lives on autopilot, that we wouldn't grow. And if certain things didn't happen in our life, especially those tough moments, that we wouldn't grow. And I love that idea of journaling. Like I said, with my gratitude journal, I remember sharing with my students an entry that I did when I first got hired at my college. And not hired as a full-time, hired part-time. And at that point, I was at like 3 different colleges, like to piecemeal a full schedule. And I remember saying, I really love it here. I really hope I can get a full-time position. And within a year, they had the temporary full-time. And that was during the time when you didn't even have to interview. The dean just called me in and was like, we got a temporary full-time position. Would you like it? I'm like, I don't have to interview. I mean, that's totally different now, but I'm bringing that up because I feel like sometimes writing things down, like not even what's happening, but what you want to happen, it puts that into the universe, which makes me wonder about the future for you. Like, what are some things you hope to happen for you in the future?
Hope to be in a healthy relationship long term. Hope for that. I hope to once finish, paying this tuition, move. That would be nice. More ideal, even though I don't know, houses are so high. It seems like they're like triple the amount that.
Well, you can always take what's his name's mortgage. What is it, a 50-year or 60-year mortgage or something? Right? It's insane.
So I would like that, and of course, I want to travel more, and maybe I don't know. I don't want to be a solo traveler, but I think if I have to, I think I will because I want to go places, and if people can't go, why should I put my life on hold and not go to these places because people can't go? Like, I have a schedule where I can go anytime I want to go. I can just fix my schedule and, not have to use days, and I can go on vacation. So that's another thing. So I guess if I get the long-term relationship, hopefully the partner, he'll be able to travel to some places.
Yeah. And you never know. I mean, my observation is sometimes things happen out of the order that we expect them. So it could just so happen that you're traveling and someone who's there, you somehow have a connection and you're like, I wasn't expecting this, and
like a Lifetime movie.
Yes,
a Hallmark Channel movie.
Exactly. I mean, but how cool would that be, though? I mean, I know for me, something I hope happens in the future is to just, I guess, be more connected with family and friends. I think that people say it so often and then it just stays there and it doesn't really, happen. So that's one of the reasons I love to have the holiday party that we have every year. So at least we have something. And I'm like, even if we start doing our an annual cousins thing or something like that, because I think that I mean, I always say the phrase, everyone's busy. We're all busy. But the reality is that we are on borrowed time and we have to try to find ways to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm busy, but I want to spend and that's one of the reasons for this podcast. One of the things that I'm hoping is to have family and friends. And it's, not like it's someone who is, this A-list celebrity or, I consider my family and friends celebrities in their own right. But, where it's like, hey, this is a wonderful opportunity for me to get to sit down and have conversations where maybe otherwise we wouldn't. And you're like, okay, yeah, I can carve some time out of my day to sit down and talk with you. And so that's something that I'm excited about. And I mean, I think just continuing to write and hopefully inspire people. I mean, most people who they probably just look at my fitness journey stuff that I always post about and they're like, oh, here we go, some more fitness stuff. But I do enjoy writing and being able to be around people. And I will say one of the things I think that's happened for me is being more conscientious and reaching out to people. I feel like that's helped me a lot. I don't think I ever was I don't think I would call myself an introvert so much as a self-conscious. So I defaulted to being an introvert as a result of being self-conscious and shy and concerned. What if they don't like me? What if they say this? What if they say that? So I think that's one of the things I hope happens is for me to continue to make connections with people.
You do.
So
You definitely have growth in that area. You're talking to people without, you'll start talking to anyone totally different than what you used to be very shy. I don't see it, I don't see it come out that much. I mean, maybe, initially you might be a little, conservative with it, but for the most part.
Yeah.
Definitely more outgoing.
I appreciate that. That's what I'm going for. All right. So, okay. Last question for fun. She's going in her book. So I had to make sure people knew this question beforehand because not everybody knows about all different types of dog breeds. But if you were a dog, what breed would you be and why?
I would be a Shih Tzu. And why would I pick that one? I picked that one because they're actually outgoing. I've read up on them. They're outgoing, playful, they're affectionate. I am very affectionate. And they are mental stimulation. It lives in the middle. Like, I can go either way. Sometimes I don't want to be bothered, and sometimes I do. That's the way these dogs operate. And then they're cute.
Yeah, they are cute. I wonder, like, you probably would be one of the ones that is like the ultimate, because the ones that are in those different AKCs, like, they have very long, like, it's a lot to maintain.
There you go.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I'm in
high maintenance. Oh my gosh, that's a good one though. I agree. Yes, definitely. Yes. So okay. Okay, so you told us what dog breed you would be, and what dog breed do you believe I would be and why?
Okay, so based on reading about different breeds, American Eskimo.
Okay.
Why did I pick that? So that particular breed is smart, versatile, and friendly, which are pretty much, characteristics that you possess. And they're also conservative as well with the friendliness. Like they are, apprehensive of who they want to befriend. And they also brains and beauty, what they're known for. And that pretty much describes you. You're, really smart.
I love that one. That's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
To you, the listener, since there's no avoiding it, how do you handle the crazy stuff that happens in your life? I'm looking forward to the next episode, week 4, all about letting stuff go. So be sure to follow me on Instagram and Facebook and, share some of your insight and questions. I just might bring them up in the next podcast episode. Until then, in the words of Christopher Morley, journalist, novelist, essayist, and poet, no one appreciates the very special genius of your conversation as the dog does. See you next time.